Dalton 456 here with a Jeep tip that may save you a lot of headache and annoyance. It's no secret that all of these Jeeps, speaking of Jeep Cherokees, all these Cherokees leak pretty badly. Well, there is one leak on here that happens on the motor, but it ends up underneath by your oil plug on the back of the transmission. You might be able to kind of see it. It's not the rear main seal. I pulled my hair out for literally 6 months thinking it was the rear main seal, and it wasn't. What it is, the inline 6 is obviously used in just more than the Cherokee. It's used in the Wrangler, the Grand Cherokee, and Cherokee. Also used in Comanches, but those are technically same body as the Cherokee, so I think the oil filter goes on the same way. Well, the different the different applications use different oil filters and in different orientations and stuff. So there's an oil filter adapter. This one puts it out at a 90-degree angle. I think the Wrangler comes straight up or something like that. And you know, different things. Well, there's an O-ring inside the back of the housing that butts up against the motor, and if that begins to leak, it'll look like your rear main seal is leaking, because it'll go down the side of the block and it'll end up on the back of the motor on the bell housing of the transmission, and it'll leak a lot of oil. Now, there's actually 3 O-rings in there. You used to be able to go to the dealership and get the kit to replace them, but I don't think the dealership carries them anymore. So you can go on Amazon, and I'll link the part number. But it's not really an overly difficult job to replace them. The only thing that makes it difficult, if you look down there, you can see there's not a lot of space. And if you try to stick a T60 socket on there, because it is a Torx, so you need a T60 Torx to get it out of there. If you try to put a Torx socket on there, it will not fit. You will have no room to back your wrench out, back your ratchet out. So what you have to do, you go to O'Reilly's or whatever auto parts store you like. You buy one of these sockets. It's a T60. And now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, you just said a T60 socket won't fit. That is correct. The T60 socket will not fit. You can put it on there, it'll fit in the hole, but you can't spin it out. So what you do, you take something small like a 1/4-inch extension or something like that, and if you look in there, you can see there's a round hole, and then there's the bit. You can actually take a 1/4-inch extension or something small like that, and you can knock just the bit out of it, then find what wrench will fit the bit. So like in my case, I took a 12mm boxed in wrench, and I wrapped a little bit of tape on this bit on the inside, and I just used the box end of the wrench to spin it off. Now, from my understanding, some of the older Cherokees actually just have a hex bolt on there, so you can just say screw it to all this Torx bit horse shit. But I mean, if you have a newer model, I don't know what year it started in. This one's a 2000, so 2000, 2001, I'm sure are going to be like this. You're stuck with Torx. And no, you do not need to drain your oil to change this. It's higher than the actual sump, so you're not going to lose much oil, just whatever was in your filter. If you want to wait until you're due for an oil change to do this, that might be a good time, since you're going to have to change the filter anyway. But other than that, you don't lose much oil. You definitely lose less than half a quart. You know, you just lose whatever the filter holds for the most part. But yeah, just save yourself a lot of headache. If you think your rear main seal is leaking, check to see where the oil is coming from for sure. Check and make sure it's not that oil filter housing. And there is one other tip. It's not really recommended, but it is something you can do to eliminate the oil filter housing completely. There is a way you can unscrew the part that threads onto the oil filter itself, or the part that the oil filter threads onto, and you can screw it into the block, I've been told. I've never done it personally, but it's something you can research if you never want to have to deal with these O-rings again. The only thing, your oil filter will come out straight instead of coming out at a 90-degree angle, so it may make things complicated. Or you may get oil going down the side of the motor whenever you unscrew the filter. But just food for thought. Till next update, later.